This is a celebrity tomato plant, and it is called a determinate, which means that it is going to just stay a bush, and you don't want to sucker off the new growth on these plants, because you're going to be getting tomatoes off of these, and they're not going to continue to grow probably taller than about 3 or 4 feet, and then it will quit growing and just start setting fruit on all the little new plants that are coming out at these leaf terminals. So leave those on the determinate varieties. They're a bush variety of tomato. This is an indeterminate tomato plant, and these will continue to grow up a string if they are trained and suckered properly. You want to take off at every leaf terminal the new growth that comes, and you can see where it's already been taken off below the blooms. Then as the plant grows, you will see more growth coming out there from the stem on top of the leaf. That's the part that you want to break off. And don't be afraid, it doesn't hurt the tomato plant at all. And then wind the string around. And you have to be careful not to break the plant as you're doing this, because they can become brittle. Okay, and then we're coming to another new blossom here. See the new blossom? What we want to do now is go below that blossom, and here is another sucker that is coming out. If I continue to let these grow, they'll take the plant's energy away from producing more blossoms. They will continue to produce, but this way they'll continue to grow up and produce more fruit. And this will become another whole tomato plant, so you'll have a real bushy mess if you don't break these off. So just break it off. I throw it under the plant and continue to wind the plant. And at this point I just stop there and let it go, but you can see that there's some more blossoms that are just starting here. Never sucker above the new blossom, because that is the new growth that will continue to send up the shoots that will continue to blossom. So be careful never to sucker above the last blossoms. We plant the plants, and then we put a stake between 2 of the tomatoes. And when we get ready to string it, then we wrap string around the tomato and take the string and put it to the stake. The string goes up the tomato, and then we tie the string to the top of the greenhouse. And these tomatoes will get taller than we can reach. They will just continue to grow and grow to the very top until the end of the season. This is about the size that you want to start stringing it up and suckering it. Here's the sucker right there. Now if you'll look at this, you'll see 2 main stems. One of them has blossoms starting on it. The other one, even though it's bigger, does not have any blossoms. It will put out blossoms, but much later. This is actually the sucker. So because this is so big, I'm going to be careful in taking it off so that it don't break the whole plant. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this one very carefully, making sure that I don't cut into the other stem. And believe it or not, that is a sucker. You can get rid of that. This leaves the plant. Now, if by chance you're suckering and you accidentally broke this one off instead of this one, don't worry about it, because this one will continue to make a plant and it will start blossoms. It'll just be later than this one, so you'll have missed at least two clusters of tomatoes. But go ahead and be careful when you're suckering to look and make sure which branch has the blossoms on it. Okay, this is the second time that I have suckered this plant, and I have wrapped the string around under each leaf. I see something about this plant though, and you do want to be careful with this. This plant, even though the blossoms are on this stem, there's no growth continuing past these blossoms. So I will just go ahead and watch this one, but I'm going to leave this one to grow because it's got the new growth on top. So before you sucker off, be careful and check out the whole stem and see what's going on, and make sure that you keep the one that is going to continue to grow. This does not happen very often. Make sure before you're suckering that you have that new growth going on past the blossoms. So since this blossomed stem is not the one that I'm going to concentrate on, I'm going to come over to this stem. And you're really wrapping the tomato around the string at this point, because if you try to wrap the string around the tomato, you can break it off. You just want to be very careful. I went under this branch here, or this leaf. I'm going to go under that one, and then I will stop right there and wait for it to continue to grow up before I wrap any more. This plant has already been suckered and trained. I'm going to continue to do some more on it, but you also want to continue to check down the leaves and back down at the base, because it may at any time start sending up another shoot. And unless you want another tomato, which we don't have room for them, you go ahead and break that off as well. We're showing our first little tomato that we've noticed. This is where I suckered off that second main stem. We're going up and continuing to sucker off. And I have to do this once a week, is about how often that this growth will get to where it needs support. So just check your plants about once a week. That's in a warm greenhouse. Outside, you may be able to go a little longer. No, I'm not playing the harp. I'm actually pollinating these tomatoes. Tomato blossoms are wind pollinated, and so if you haven't been suckering for a while, you can just tap the strings and that motion will actually pollinate. But it also happens when you're suckering, so if you do that once a week, that's plenty for these to set their tomatoes.